الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. But inshallah tonight we are going to talk about fasting. So inshallah tonight and next week we'll have two special classes about fasting. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we all know, made the fasting obligatory upon the Muslims. And you know the famous ayah in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So fasting is abstaining from eating, drinking, and jima' from Fajr to Maghrib, from the dawn time to the sunset time. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. Whoever fasts Ramadan with iman, with belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with sincerity. This is ihtisaban. Ihtisaban means he is sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and waiting for the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why he fasts. And in the Hadith Qudsi, Prophet ﷺ said, غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه, all of his sins will be forgiven. And the Hadith Qudsi, Prophet ﷺ narrated that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, so every deed of the son of Adam is for him, except the fasting, it's for me, and I reward for it. And then he said, when you fast, don't commit any bad deeds and don't say any bad things. If someone curses you or say bad words to you, just answer by saying, Inni sa'im, I am fasting, to remind yourself that you shouldn't involve in that, and to remind him as well. So it's very important, you know, in general, to keep our manners, not to keep our tongue from saying anything bad, to keep our hand from striking anything, in a bad way, a transgression way. So that's in general, and especially when we fast, in order not to lose the reward of fasting. So if someone did that, if someone commit any bad deeds or say bad words during his fast, does this break his fast? It doesn't break his fast. But let's pause here for a second. So each good deed, so we need to make sure of three things. So we have to do three types of revision for any good deed. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Man ja'a bil hasana, whoever who comes with the hasana, he arrived in the day of judgment before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's meeting him in that day with the hasanat. So he was able to come with it. So in order to be able to come with the hasana, we have to make sure of three things. One is the validity. Is this good deed valid or not? And that's why it's important to study fiqh, to understand, and how to do anything, how to validate our good deeds, how to validate our fasting, how to validate our prayers, how to validate our wudu, how to validate our tahara. So everything, in order to validate it, we have to learn how to do it properly, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us, and as the Prophet ﷺ also taught us. And and the ulama rahimahumullah conveyed this to us. So the second thing is the acceptance. Is this good deed accepted or not? It has to be accepted, and in order for it to be accepted, it has to be only for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I have to have a pure intention that I'm doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not looking for a reward from anyone else. So the intention is very important to have our good deed accepted. And the third thing is to maintain my good deed, to preserve the good deed that I did. How to preserve it? By maintaining the good manners. Because if I oppressed someone by my words or by like backbiting or bad doubt or by beating him up or taking thing from him which is not my right, or harm anyone anyway, so that means I'm losing from my hasanat. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, warned us from committing any of these bad deeds. In order, to preserve our fasting, we have to comply to that. So is this clear now? So the siyam will be valid, but it might be lost. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us because of that. So we need to validate our deeds, get it accepted, and get it and preserve it. Okay? Preserve it through the akhlaq, get it accepted through the intention, and validate it through the ilm, through the, seeking the knowledge. So coming back to the fasting. So the fasting, there are two main compulsory elements of fasting. They are the niyyah, the intention, and it has to be from the night before. So from the night before, so you have to have the intention. So should we say it with our tongue? It's better if you say it with your tongue, just to to make sure to avoid any develop whispers that you didn't have the intention. But if you didn't say it with your tongue, that's fine. You can just have it. So the niyyah is from the heart, but you have to make sure that you have the intention the night before the day of fasting, and you have to renew your intention every night. According to the majority of the scholars, the niyyah has to be every night before Fajr. This is for Ramadan fasting. So after you break your fast, so between Maghrib until Fajr, you have to make sure that you have the intention for the next day, during that time. So the niyyah, the intention is very important. It's one pillar of fasting, very important pillar according to the vast majority of the scholars. Some scholars said you may have one intention for the whole month, but the majority said you have to have it for each night, for every night. Every night you have to renew your intention, and it has to be before Fajr time or before dawn. So this is for Ramadan. So what if we are fasting in some other days? So can we have the intention during the day? Some scholars said yes, we can. But the best is to have the intention at night. Okay, but some said you can have it during the day. The majority said you can have it during the day until Dhuhr time. But some other scholars also said you can have it any time of the day, even after Asr, if you don't break your fast, by eating or drinking anything or having any, sexual relation during the day. And the second compulsory element of fasting, and this is consensus, that you have to abstain from eating, drinking, and sexual intercourse throughout, the day from the dawn to Maghrib time. Yeah. So what breaks the fasting? So what breaks the fasting? So anything corporeal or tangible that intentionally enters from the outside to inside through an open orifice or passage to the cavity. Okay, so focus on this technical definition. So whether for nourishment or for medical treatment, whether it's something eatable or not eatable, liquid or solid, during the time of fasting, which is from dawn to Maghrib. So again, so what breaks the fasting? What nullifies the fasting? Anything corporeal or tangible that intentionally enters from outside to inside through an open orifice or passage to a cavity, yani inside the body, whether for nourishment or medical treatment, whether it's something eatable or not eatable, liquid or solid, during the time of fasting from dawn to Maghrib. So when we say intentionally, what does that mean? So if someone forgot, so does this nullify his fasting? It doesn't. All right. If, let's say, someone had eaten before Fajr, for suhoor, and he cleaned his mouth and everything, but still between his teeth there's some, very little remaining, and he swallowed them with his saliva unintentionally. Does this break his fast? It doesn't. Okay. Yeah. So what are the orifice or the passages or the orifices of the body? If anything pass through them to the body, it breaks their fast. So the mouth, the nose, the ears, right, and the anus or the vagina. So these are the only passages. So that means the eye drops doesn't break the fast, but the eardrops does break the fast. Okay, anything through the mouth, of course, breaks the fasting. Okay, so question number 5: how to determine the beginning of Ramadan? That causes a lot of argument in the beginning of Ramadan. So how do you determine the hilal? What is right and what is wrong? So the Prophet ﷺ said, so when you see the hilal, you fast. So if you don't see it, don't fast. So with the calculations, so if the calculation said tomorrow should be Ramadan, but no one was able to see the hilal, so we cannot fast tomorrow. We should wait until we see it. So we can continue, the 30th of Sha'ban. So what if the calculation said tomorrow is not Ramadan? Tomorrow, the calculations said tomorrow is not Ramadan, and someone said, I saw the hilal. We should follow the calculations. In this case, we should follow the calculations because they are accurate. And so we are following the calculations which are accurate according to many scientists. And in the same time, we are following the hadith. Prophet ﷺ said, if you saw the hilal, if you don't see the hilal, don't fast. So we don't see it, we don't fast, even if the calculation said it's Ramadan, and this is very rare to happen. But if the other case happened, which is the calculation said tomorrow is the end of Sha'ban, or Ramadan is not tomorrow, but someone saw the hilal, we should follow the calculation. He might have seen something else other than the hilal. One more point, which is very important: if the authorities in the country or in the city we live in, they said Ramadan is tomorrow or after tomorrow, we have to follow the Jama'ah. So, there are some other opinions, but, this is very strong opinion, which I learned. So if the authorities of the city or the country said tomorrow is Ramadan or tomorrow is not Ramadan, we have to follow the authorities. We have to follow the Jama'ah. we must not, do a fitna or do tribulation among the Jama'ah. This is very dangerous. So if we are in a Muslim country, Egypt, Pakistan, any Muslim country, or countries that have like Islamic authorities, we have to follow them. So we have to follow the authorities and do whatever they want. And whatever knowledge we have, we shouldn't follow our knowledge to see, they are wrong. They should the halal is here or the halal is not here, whatever. So we shouldn't do that. We have to, adhere to what the authorities said, whether to Ramadan is tomorrow or not, and follow the Jama'ah. This is very important. Following the Jama'ah is very important. So if we are, like in the US, so we have to follow like the biggest authority in the area or in the city. Like in our case, it would be like in Baltimore, it would be ISB. So we need to follow that. So, and we have to be all in the same page. Like all the Muslims in Baltimore, we have to fast in the same day. This is very important. So otherwise, it will be, a lot of problems among the Muslims, and also we are like importing or exporting not like a bad image for the Muslims, to the non-Muslims. So when he asks, when someone non-Muslim asks a Muslim, so when is Ramadan, and someone Muhammad told him tomorrow, and Ahmad told him after tomorrow, he will be confused. So what's going on? So not like I can't find two Muslims agrees on the same thing. So this is wrong. So the Sharia said you have to follow the Jama'ah. You have to adhere to what the authorities said around the area. So if a Muslim country, so the president or the king or whatever, so whatever they say, so we follow that, and we don't, if whatever knowledge we have, we don't have to look and to do our own research. If non-Muslim country like the US, we should follow, the biggest Islamic community in the area. Whatever they say, we adhere to that. So this is for Ramadan and also for finishing Ramadan. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. Allah knows best. There are some other opinions, but this is what I believe in. Okay, so what if someone? So this is let's do this. Let's make this the last question because of the time, or we can take like two more. What if someone traveled during Ramadan, and he was in one country? So they started Ramadan in some day, and he fasted with them, and then during Ramadan he traveled to another country. So and the both countries don't share the same, the same day of Eid. So he should do the Eid with the country he is in. So if he fasts 30 days, that's good. If he fasts 29 days, and the other country, like the original country, they fast 30 days, that's also good. So he follow, the country he is in, even if the same, like the both countries, they both fasted 30 days, and he is fasting 29 days, he is good. So what if, like for some reason, he will fast, he just fasted 28 days. So he has also to follow them in the Eid and fast one day, make it up later after the Eid, but he has to have the Eid with them. Okay, so should we stop here or one more point? Yes.
Like I know, like in Norway, in some Scandinavian countries, or I think maybe in Antarctica, the sun doesn't set there. The sun, you always see it throughout the whole day.
Mhm.
What is to be done?
Okay, so this is one of the things. So in this case, so the scholars said you can follow the Mecca timing. How is that? So you start the fasting in Fajr time. Okay, so let's say the Fajr is at 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. whatever. You start Ramadan. I mean fasting. Right. At the time of Fajr. and then you check in Mecca how many hours they fast. So they fast 14 hours. So you count the 14 hours from the time of Fajr, and you break your fast after that. If the day is longer than 18 hours, if the day is longer than 18 hours in some countries like Norway, you said, so shorter so if the day is shorter, you fast with the you follow the day, whatever the day is, yeah. Okay, so I'll break it down again. So first case, if the day is very very long, okay, so we follow the fasting time of Mecca. Okay, we check how many hours they fast in Mecca, 14 hours and 30 minutes. So we follow that. We start from Fajr and count the 14 hours and 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, and then we break our fast. If the day is short, that's fine. We just fast. If the day is very short, like there is no like almost no day, it's all night. So we also follow the people of Mecca, the timing of Mecca, the same way. These are the three cases. So who have the excuse not to fast? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala determined them in the Quran. So the one who is sick, so it's very difficult for him to fast, or for her, and the doctor told him not to fast, it will not be good for you, or it's difficult, either it's too difficult for him, or the doctor told him you cannot fast. The Muslim doctor who is aware of the fasting in Ramadan and everything, and he is trusted doctor, so he tells him you cannot fast during to your medical condition, so he shouldn't fast. If this a temporary sickness or medical issue, so he make it up after Ramadan. If it's something permanent, so he pays, or pays for the ransom. So how much is the ransom? It is 2 meals. So the meal of breakfast, and the meal of suhoor, the meal of iftar and the meal of suhoor. So what is the quality of the meal? The same quality you are eating. Okay, so you can do that with actual food, or see how much is that, how much that cost, and you pay that for every day you are breaking your fast. Who else? The traveler. So for the traveler, if the traveling is difficult for him, it's better for him to break his fast. If it's easy for him, it's better for him to fast, to continue his fasting. So he can judge whether he can make it or not. So if he can make it, it will be okay. So it's better for him to fast. If it's very difficult for him due to the traveling conditions and whatnot, so he can break his fast and make it up later. And who else? Oh yeah, of course, the pregnant woman and the nursing mom. So if it's very difficult for them, they can break their fast. If it's harmful for the baby, I'm talking about the pregnant or the nursing mom. If it's harmful for the baby, so she should break her fast and make it up later. Yeah, that's, I think I covered. Yeah. So if there's a question. So if someone has Alzheimer, there are 3 stages of Alzheimer. The first stage, it can be handled by the medicines. So he can he's still aware of what's going on around him. So he can fast, and if he forgets during the day, that's okay. So if anyone forgets and eat and drink during the day of Ramadan, this is forgivable. It's all good, no problem. Doesn't break his fast. He doesn't have to repeat or anything. So the second and third stage, these are, so in this, two cases, so he's not like he doesn't have to fast. So he's not mukallaf, as we say. He's not mukallaf to fast. So what if the work, someone is working somewhere and he say, the work doesn't let us eat or drink during during our work, and we work, until late night. So what should I do? So he can or she can break their fast, and they don't have to eat a complete meal, right? So, but that's not an excuse to break the fast. This is not an excuse not to fast, except if that harms him or her too much. It's very, very difficult. So in this case, they can break their fast, but otherwise, they just can break their fast, at Maghrib time, and then when they finish their work, they can have, a good meal at home or whatever after the work hours. So can the student break his fast because of the exams? No, he can't. He can't break his fast because of the exams. However, so if he got or if she got very exhausted and very tired and it's very difficult for them, in this case, they can break their fast, but not because the exams or the studying. So they can still focus on the exams and the studying during the fast. So the fasting doesn't contradict with, with the studying or taking the exams, or it doesn't affect that in a bad way. So, but if someone, has work which is very tough work and requires severe physical effort, and this is his, only way of getting by, or, this is his main work, he cannot find another work. So in this case, he is allowed to break his fast. But if, the work doesn't require severe physical effort during the day, so in this case, so they should fast. But if it does require very severe physical effort, so these are for, some particular jobs. They are very difficult, maybe in the very hot weather, and he's working all day outside, and he carries, a lot of things throughout the day. So, these kind of jobs, they can break their fasting.
They have to make it up.
They have to make it up, yes, of course. So they do have to make it up. Yeah. We mentioned this.
In the same thread for hard physical work is sports. Does sport also come in that category?
Yeah.
If you have like a game, and if you're a professional sportsman, if you're if you're in a college and you're part of a
Yeah, some scholars permit for those who this is their job, to do that if they cannot avoid taking a break
what if you're
during
in college? You're not
during
getting
that
paid
time.
for it, but you're like part of college.
It's
Sometimes
not
those are very you get pressured for playing your team as well.
so it's a case by case, it's very so you have to study case by case in order for the scholars to permit someone, so they have to study case by case. But in general, everyone should make his best to fast the day of Ramadan. So he's saying if someone plays in a soccer team or any sport in the college, can they break their fast because of that? So generally, yeah. So again, generally, no, but it's case by case. During but there is no this by itself is not an excuse to break the fast.
So there are a decent amount of students who go into college based on sports. They get accepted to college because of sports.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
So it's case by case.
yeah, case by case. So what if a traveler? So he started his traveling, and he was fasting. Right? He said, "I will fast," but then he arrived. When he arrived his home country during the day, so can he Can he break his fast? He can't. So he should continue. He has to continue the day. Okay, so let's stop here, inshallah. And yeah.
About the traveler, especially the travel with the airplane, when he started somewhere, let's say you break the fast and he started, and when you reach some country or during the plane, how you calculate the food time and the fasting of day? I just breaking a fast, I know where you are in. If that country is breaking the fast time, you can break. Daytime you cannot, even though it's more than 15 hours or so, right? But
So-
how will you calculate that time during this, especially the plane air flight time?
Yeah. So like if someone is traveling and he's fasting, and in the flight, so he should break his fast once the sun set. Like in any place he is in the middle, like in the plane, in the middle of his way during the flight. So he should fast. I mean, he should break his fast when it's time of sunset. There are some apps, you can put your flight, and they can tell you exactly what time the Maghrib will be and what time all the prayers will be during your flight. In the country the plane will be at that time. So we have this kind of calculation. So it's some apps have that option. So but for the fiqh, as from fiqh perspective, so once the sun set during the flight, any place you are in, you break your fast, even if you are traveling to the west and you saw the sun again. So if you saw the sun again, the sun set in that place, but after some time, so you'll see in some other places the sun didn't set yet because someone is traveling west, right? So it's okay. So you already broke your fast, and this is good. So and your fasting is valid and no problem on it.
Very useful in that case.
Yeah. So the app is called the Halal Trip. Yeah.
You can put your flight, your traveling airport, landing airport, all the information, and it will give you the prayer time for all the salawat and everything. You can use it for both, especially for the Fajr time, because this is the tricky time to determine from the wind.
Sometimes they announce on the airplane that now is the time to break your fast.
Yeah,
Only
sometimes.
Saudi airline does that.
That's how we are.
No, some other,
Some other Muslim airlines.
yeah, some
Does
other
that.
countries. Turkish Airlines, they do.
Yeah, some of them, not all.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned about the making the intention for Ramadan night. How about the other days of fast? You said you can do the intention during the day of the same fast.
So-
you were saying that
Yeah.
for other days, how do you have to make the intention same as night, or you can do it during the
So the intention again. So the intention for every day, you have your intention at the night before.
Ramadan?
So in the Sharia, the day starts from the night. So like we count. So like that's why we say the first night of Ramadan. It comes before the first day of Ramadan, right? So the night of that day, so we have to have the intention for fasting. We have to have the intention every day. So we remind ourselves, and the intention is by heart. So you are having iftar and you have the intention in your mind, in your heart, that you are fasting tomorrow, inshallah.
Days. Volunteer fast.
Volunteer fasting. So for the volunteer fasting, this is the best way. Okay, again, this is the best way. But can you have the intention during the day? And most of the scholars said yes until the Dhuhr time, because the Prophet ﷺ, some days he used to ask Aisha radiallahu anha, do we have food today at home? She would say no. He'll say, Khalas, I'm fasting today. So that was in the morning. So in the morning until Dhuhr time, you can have the intention during that time. And some scholars said you can even have the intention after that. If you didn't eat or drink the whole day, you can have the intention at Asr time, and inshallah it's counted. This is for the volunteers, the optional fasting, the volunteer fasting. Allahu A'lam. Inshallah, next Friday, inshallah, we're going to continue. We have some other topics or points to cover, inshallah. جزاكم الله خير. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل وبارك على محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا. تقبل منا وقبلنا برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. اللهم انا نسالك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وعملا متقبلا. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. صلى الله وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله.